हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna. So, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in. We'll start with Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chadi Yamuna Tira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Radha Madhav Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Rasa Bihari Radha Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavan Dham Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Pancha Tattva Jaya Mayapur Dham Pancha Tattva Jaya Mayapur Dham Jaya Sitaram Jaya Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Jaya Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Shri Hari Ram Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koji Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, all glories, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in on a Saturday morning. So today and tomorrow we will have special session as we bring an end to 2023. Let us study Srila Prabhupada's books so that we can start our new year with nice transcendental consciousness. Begging for the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we can lead lives that will enable us to go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. We'll start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान् पितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तरालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरि ओं तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in. Tomorrow is 31st, the last day of this year. Tomorrow is also Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Tirobhav Tithi. So tomorrow there's fasting till noon. So we will have our session from 11 to 11:45, and then we can do Pushpanjali for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then we can break fast. So that's the program for tomorrow. Let's go to our study of Srila Prabhupada's book. We are on the book Path for Perfection. Yesterday we started off with the 3rd chapter. We started this book on Vaikunta Ekadashi day. This is the 12th book of Srila Prabhupada that we are studying on our Zoom series, the series of Srila Prabhupada's books in the order that's given by His Grace Radhisham Prabhu. So once we complete the small books, many devotees wrote to me, when are you studying Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, like that. So we will, after completing this entire series of Prabhupada's small books, we'll move to Bhagavad Gita. Since we'll be having all 7 days from January 14th, from the Tirobhav Tithi of Jiva Goswami. From that day, we'll be having all the 7 days. We'll be having at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So once we finish the 12, the prescribed books, small books given by Prabhu, then we'll go on to Bhagavad Gita as it is. Every day we'll be reading. And then once we complete Bhagavad Gita, then we'll move on to the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the plan. So thank you all very much. Your inquiries mean, that there's a lot of enthusiasm, and your enthusiasm is actually coming on to me also. So we should read Prabhupada's books daily. So on that note, let's continue with our 3rd chapter of Path for Perfection. Yesterday we were reading about how to see God, right? We were discussing on this verse, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So when can we see God? Only when our eyes are anointed with the love of God, right? When will our eyes be anointed? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. When our heart gets saturated with bhakti, then our eyes will get anointed with prema. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. So when our eyes get anointed with Krishna Prema, we'll be able to see the Lord always in our heart. The Lord is already present even now, but unfortunately we're not able to see the Lord, right? Yeah, we were discussing how even if the Lord comes in front of us, right? If the Lord does not reveal himself to us, we will not be able to identify that it is the Lord who's in front of us, right? We were discussing how Duryodhana also saw the same Krishna that Arjuna also saw. While Arjuna realized that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Duryodhana did not realize. Duryodhana wanted to compete with Krishna. Duryodhana was not willing to give even even that much of land, which even a pin would fall, even that small minuscule portion of the land also he was not willing to give Krishna. The Supreme Lord came and asked him, just give that much space, but he was not willing to give. So अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत् ग्राह्यम् इन्द्रियैः सेवोन्मुखैः जीवादौ स्वयमेव सुरत्यतः. So we can understand the nama rupa guna leela of the Lord only when the Lord himself reveals it to us. And when the Lord himself reveals himself to us, then only our eyes get anointed and we're able to see the Lord as he is, right? As is described in Brahma Samhita. Venum kvanantam aravinda dalayataksam barhavatam samasitam muda sundarangam kandarpa koti kamaniya visesha shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So we'll be able to see the Shamasundar form of Krishna nicely playing a flute, wearing nice yellow garments and decorated with nice wonderful ornaments, wearing a peacock feather. All of that we'll be able to see with our eyes, only when our eyes are anointed with love. And when would that be possible? When we please Lord Sri Krishna by our devotional service and the Lord reveals himself to us. Right? Swayameva Swarati Adaha. And the Lord himself reveals himself to us, then we'll be able to see the actual form of the Lord. Yeah. So now let's go on to our study. Devotees who want to read may raise your hands. So yesterday ended here. Purification of the senses is what is required to understand the name, form, qualities and pastimes of God. Nama, Rupa, Guna and Leela. Now to understand the Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, what do we have to do? Now we have to purify our senses. And how do we purify our senses? By rendering devotional service. When we please the Lord himself will reveal himself to us. And then we'll be able to properly see the Lord and understand the Lord. Okay. Okay. Now Kishori Mataji, go ahead. These matters are discussed.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanurpranam. Thank you. These matters are discussed thoroughly in the Vedic literatures. For instance, it is said that although God has no hands or legs, he can accept whatever we offer. Apni pado javano grahita. It is also stated that although God has neither eyes or ears, he can see and hear everything. These are apparent contradiction, but they are meant to teach us an important lesson. When we speak of seeing, we think of material vision. Due to our material conceptions, we think that eyes of God must be like ours. Therefore, in order to remove these material conceptions, the Vedic literature say that God has no hands, legs, eyes, ears, etc. God has eyes, but his vision is infinite. He can see in darkness and he can see everywhere at once. Therefore, he has different eyes. Similarly, God has ears and can hear. He may be in his kingdom millions and millions of miles away, but he can hear us whispering because he is sitting within. We cannot avoid God seeing, hearing, or touching. Patram pushpam phalam. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So here in this paragraph, very beautifully Prabhupada is explaining here what we sing every day in our Darshanarati to the Lord, isn't it? We sing Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti Pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda chinmaya sadujjwala vigrahasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. So the Lord can eat with his eyes. That's what we do every day, right? When we offer bhoga to the Lord, the Lord sees with his eyes and he eats the bhoga. That's how we take back Krishna Prasadam. And that's how we, another service of the tongue that we do, apart from chanting Hare Krishna, is honoring Krishna Prasadam, right? So the Lord can do any of the functions of the other senses with any of his senses. It is not that if we don't have eyes, we cannot see. If we don't have our hands, we cannot pick up food and eat. But it is not the case with the Lord. The Lord can see with his hands or eat with his eyes. The Lord can do according to whichever sense he wants to do. Whatever he wants, he does it, right? Because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. And then with those transcendental senses, the Lord maintains, right? Pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. He maintains the entire world with those transcendental senses. Then why are we saying the Lord does not have eyes, right? We also hear about Nirguna form of the Lord. What is Nirguna? Nirguna means the Lord does not have a material form. The Lord does not have material qualities. The Lord does not have a material name. Right? It is said, Prabhupada explains in one of his lectures, how when we say water, does our thirst get quenched? No. We need to actually take a glass of water and drink it. Only then it will quench our thirst. But when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, right? It is non-different from the Supreme Lord. Right? Because the names of the Lord are non-different from the Supreme Lord, when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is as good as having a personal association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the Lord, His Nama, His Rupa, His Guna are all abhinna. They are all non-different. Whereas our body, I'm a spirit soul. My body is different, right? My soul is engaged within this body. And my name is different, right? My name is Meera. Like, for example, Prabhupada actually explains, right? There is one person who's called Lakshmipati, but he is very poor, right? Why? Because his name and his condition and his qualities are not identical. It is only with respect to the Lord that we can say. We call him Madhava. Now we call him Lakshmipati. Lakshmipati because he is the husband of the goddess of fortune. We call him Madhava for the same reason. He's a husband of the goddess of fortune. We call him Achyuta. That means he's infallible when he has affection to his devotees. We call him Partha Sarathi because he drove the chariot for Arjuna. In this way, various leelas given by the Lord, depicted by the Lord. Because of that, the Lord has got different names. Right? So when we call out any of the names of the Lord, it is like calling out the Lord himself, right? Whereas, if we simply call out somebody's name, right? For example, if somebody calls out Meera, right? As I'm sitting somewhere in, I'm staying in Bombay. So even in Bombay, in the next street or in the next neighbor also calls out Meera. Will I be able to hear? No, because my senses are limited to probably, my own house. That's where when somebody calls me Meera, then at least I know somebody is calling me. But the Lord, right? The Lord, the entire world is the Lord's abode. Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhu, matha sarvam pravartate. Iti matva vajante ma udavava samrita. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham sarvasya prabhu. I am the creator of all of the three worlds. Right? So whichever part of the world we are in, whether we are in Dubai, whether we are in India, whether we are in Mumbai, Calcutta, Delhi, Bangalore, whether we are in US or whether we are in hellish planets, whether we are in heavenly planets, does not matter. What we have to do is we simply call out the names of Lord Krishna. Krishna can hear because Krishna is the creator of the entire universe. He creates, he maintains, he sustains, and he also annihilates through his energies. Right? But eternally, the Lord is situated in Goloka Vrindavan Dham. God does not have any job description, right? The Lord has to appear to kill the demons, to protect the devotees. No, it's not necessary. The Lord has to personally appear, right? The Lord, simply like in the last 2 years, we saw how COVID was there, right? Simply some famine is there, some COVID is there, some earthquake is there, some fire has happened. People can die, isn't it? The Lord need not come to destroy anybody, but the Lord comes mainly to enjoy pastimes with his devotees. The Lord comes to this world to attract us to go back to the Goloka Vrindavan Dham, where amorous pastimes of the Lord take place. Right? The Lord is only interested in taking us back home to his eternal world, Goloka Vrindavan Dham, so that we can see the Lord, we can serve the Lord directly. Right? Otherwise, the Lord is not interested in doing anything else. Right? So, although the Lord possesses ears, eyes, nose, everything. Right? The Lord is a source. Right? Yesterday we were reading how we are all amshas of the Lord. Right? Mameva amshu jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. We are amshas of the Lord. When we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 2 eyes, 2 hands, etc. How is it that our source, the Supreme Lord, he will not have senses? It doesn't make sense. So even to a logician, it will not make sense, because when someone has been created by the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord will have much more attributes than the person who has been created by the Supreme Lord, right? So in that way, the Lord has senses, but he does not have material senses, right? He does not have senses which will get destroyed, right? Because Ishvara Paramakrishna Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has got transcendental senses, right? So that is what we are going to see next, right? We saw now the Lord has eyes, ears, etc. But those are not like the human ears and eyes, right? The Lord's eyes are transcendental. The Lord's anga, right? All the entire body parts of the Lord are all transcendental. Sat, Chit, and Ananda. All right. Who will read? Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam from there. Mataji, you need to unmute yourself. Hare Krishna. Okay, fine. Let me just read. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upahritam Ashnami Priyatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. Right? So Krishna is Bhavagrihi Janardana. Krishna is not in need of our leaf or a fruit or a flower or water. Right? What does Krishna accept? Krishna accepts our love. Right? That's why Krishna is saying, if one offers me with love and devotion, that is more important. A leaf, flower, fruit, water, everything is credited by Krishna. Krishna is not in need of it. But Krishna wants our love and devotion. If God does not have senses, how can he accept and eat the offerings that are presented to him? Very wonderful question, isn't it? So let's see what Prabhupada is saying. Okay, Meenakshi and Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes Mataji. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. Bhagavad Gita 9.26. If God does not have senses, how can he accept and eat the offerings that are presented to him? According to ritual, we are offering Krishna food daily, and we can see that the taste of this food is immediately changed. This is a practical example. God eats, but because he is full, he does not eat like us. If I offer you a plate of food, you will eat it and it will be finished. God is not hungry, but he eats, and at the same time, he leaves the food as it is, and thus it is transformed into prasada, his mercy. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. God is full, yet he accepts the food that we offer. Still, the food remains as it is. He can eat with his eyes, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Could you scroll, Mataji?
Mataji, we are not able to hear you. Can you see?
The screen. Yes, Mataji, but the screen hasn't moved.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, we cannot see you. Okay, I'll continue. Although we can see with our eyes, we cannot eat with our eyes. The senses of God, however, being infinite, are different. Simply by looking at the food that is offered to him, he eats it. Right? There is a very beautiful pastime that comes to my mind. So this is the pastime of Raghunath. Raghunath and his father Mukunda. It is said that Mukunda was a very great devotee of the Lord, and once Mukunda had to go out. So what did Mukunda do? Mukunda told his son Raghunanda that you offer laddu to the Lord. I mean, you offer boga to the Lord today. I have to go out. And Raghunanda has always seen that his father goes into the altar, offers boga, but he did not know the actual mantras. What are the mantras to be chanted to actually make the Lord eat the boga? So his mother made nice, wonderful boga and gave it to Raghunandan. And Raghunandan went inside and kept the plate in front of the lordships. And then he did not know the prayers, right? So he said, "Oh Lord, my father has asked me to offer it to you. So I'm offering this boga to you." And then, he just closed his eyes and rang the bell. Right? And then after 2-3 minutes, he opened his eyes. He saw that the boga was still there on the plate. So he said, "Oh Lord, why are you not accepting my offering?" Right? He did not know that the Lord he was a small boy, 4 or 5 years old. And, the Lord is there in the Archa Vigraha form in front of him. And he's asking the Lord, "Why are you not eating? Why are you not eating?" And then he starts crying. "Oh my God, what will I do? If I go out, my mother will say that you've not offered properly. That is why the Lord has not accepted your offering." And then he started crying profusely. And then seeing his love and devotion, the Lord actually took the boga and ate the entire plate. The entire plate was empty. And then Raghunandan was so happy. He took the entire plate and gave it to his mother and said, and then mother is asking, "Where is the prasadam?" And Raghunandan said, "Oh, what prasadam? The Lord ate everything." And then his mother was bewildered, but she knew that he was not a naughty boy, right? He could not have eaten everything. But yet she was very bewildered. What happened to the prasadam. And then in the afternoon, the father comes and the mother tells the father what happened. Everything was eaten away by Gopinath. That's what Raghunandan is saying. And then Raghunandan said, yes, that's what happened. And then what happened? Mukunda asked his wife to prepare nice laddus and offer it to the Lord. And this time when Raghunandan was offering it to the Lord, Mukunda was standing inside the altar and hiding behind the curtain to see what was happening. And Raghunandan is, as usual, closing his eyes and praying to the Lord, oh Lord, please accept these wonderful laddus. He rings the bell, closes his eyes and, for 2 minutes and opens his eyes to see the laddu is still there on the plate. And then he again starts crying, oh Krishna, why are you not accepting my laddu? You have to accept my laddu. Otherwise my mother will scold me that I have not offered properly. And then what happens? Lo and behold, the Lord appears. The Lord starts eating the laddu. Right? Generally, when we witness something that we don't expect, we become startled and then we make some sound. Oh, like that something. Like that, Mukunda made a sound from behind the curtain. And then the Lord, seeing that Mukunda was also there, again, he left the laddu back. So he'd eaten half laddu. The rest of the laddu, he left it on the plate. And then he took his form as Archa Vigraha. And Mukunda was so startled, right? I've been a devotee for so many years, but this darshan that my son got, I've never seen the Lord actually eating the bhoga. So this is what is love and devotion. When someone offers with love and devotion, wanting the Lord, to eat the bhoga, the Lord can even come and have the bhoga in front of the devotee. That's why later on, when Raghunandan actually became big, when they went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's none other than Lord Krishna himself, he asked Mukunda, who's the father and who's the son? And Mukunda said, Raghunandan is the father and I am the son. Right? Actually, Mukunda is the father. But he said, Raghunandan is the father and I am the son. Why did he say that? Because Raghunandan was a much greater devotee than Mukunda. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy, was so pleased with Mukunda's answer. So why did I say this story? This pastime is because if the Lord wants, he can come and eat the bhoga with his hands in a way that we can perceive him eating. But generally, for all people, Prabhupada was saying, or some other devotee was mentioning in a lecture, every day if the Lord were to eat up the entire bhoga, then probably we'll stop offering. We are not getting Krishna Prasadam, right? So in this way, ye yathamam prapadyante tam sateva bhajamyam. As much as we surrender to the Lord will reciprocate with us accordingly. And secondly, the Lord can accept the bhoga with any of the parts of his senses. It is not necessary the Lord has to eat to accept the bhoga. The Lord can just have a glance and he can accept the bhoga like that. All right. So let's continue. The senses of God are infinite and they are different. Simply by looking at the food that is offered to him, he eats it. Yeah. So who wants to read now? Yeah. Sindhu Mataji. Okay, you're back. Go ahead, Mataji. This may not be understood.
Hare Krishna. Pranams, Mataji. This may not be understood at the present moment. Therefore, the Padma Puran states that when one becomes spiritually saturated by rendering transcendental service to the Lord, the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord are revealed. We cannot understand God by our own endeavor, but out of mercy, God reveals himself to us. If it is night and you want to see the sun, you will have to wait for the sun to appear in the morning. You cannot go outside with a big torch and say, come on, I will show you the sunlight. In the morning, when the sun rises of its own will, we can see it. Because our senses are imperfect, we cannot see God by our own endeavor. We have to purify our senses and wait for the time when God will be pleased to reveal himself to us. That is the process. We cannot challenge God. We cannot say, oh my dear God, my dear Krishna, please come, I want to see you. No, God is not our order supplier. He is not our servant. When he is pleased, we will see him. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness is the process by which we can please God so that he will reveal himself to us. Because people cannot see God, they readily accept anyone who says, I am God. Because people have no conception of God, they are eager to accept any rascal who comes along and proclaims himself to be the God. People are fond of saying, I'm searching after the truth. But in order to search for the truth, we must know what the truth is. Otherwise, how can we search it out? If we want to purchase gold, we must at least theoretically know what gold is. Otherwise, we will be cheated. Consequently, having no conception of the truth or of God, people are being treated by so many rascals who say, I am God. In a society of rascals, one rascal accepts another rascal as God, and this is all the result of rascaldom. But all this has nothing to do with God. One has to qualify himself to see and understand God, and that process of qualification is called Krishna consciousness. Sevon mukehi jivadau swayam eva spurati adaha. By engaging ourselves in God's service, we become qualified to see God. Otherwise, it is not possible. We may be great scientists or scholars, but our mundane scholarship will not help us to see God.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yeah. So this is the verse that we started our session with today, right? What was it? Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhave grahyam indriyahi sevon mukehi jivadau swayam eva surati adaha. That means the name, the forms, the qualities, the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by our own material endeavor, by the endeavor with our material senses. However, sevon mukehi jivado, if we render service to the Lord with our senses, starting with the tongue, by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and by the honoring of Krishna Prasadam, then by the Lord's own mercy, the Lord will reveal himself to us. Swayam eva surati adaha. So Prabhupada is saying here, our mundane scholarship is not enough, does not qualify us to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, let's move forward. Anyone else wants to read? Okay. This Bhagavad Gita is a science of Krishna consciousness. In order to understand Krishna, you must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who's in pure Krishna consciousness, right? So the Lord will reveal himself to us, need not necessarily be directly, right? Arjuna was very fortunate that he could actually see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? But we can also be equally fortunate if we try to understand the Bhagavad Gita or the science of Krishna consciousness from a pure devotee of the Lord, right? Pure devotee of the Lord comes in a bona fide Guru Parampara. We already discussed that, right? So now Prabhupada is going to talk about here who is a bona fide devotee of the Lord, right? It is not a person who's acquired certain degrees, right? Whether B.Ed or this or that. That is not a qualification to teach the science of Krishna consciousness. What is a qualification? The person has to come in a bona fide Guru Parampara. There are 4 bona fide Paramparas. We already saw that. One is the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, of which we are all part of. And then we have the Lakshmi Sampradaya, Drudra Sampradaya, and the Kumara Sampradaya. All of the 4 bona fide Paramparas have been initiated, or the mantra has been given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna himself. So anyone who is coming in the bona fide, one of these 4 bona fide Paramparas is qualified to teach one the science of God, the science of Krishna consciousness, and to understand the science of Krishna consciousness from any of these people who are coming in this bona fide line of disciplic succession is as good as understanding this science of Krishna consciousness from Lord Shri Krishna himself, right? That's what Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Approach a spiritual master, render service unto him, and humbly inquire from such a spiritual master. The spiritual master will teach the science of Krishna consciousness because he has realized the truth, right? So somebody who's unbound only can bind another person. Can unbind another person who's bound, right? We are all bound by the 3 modes of material nature, right? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamoguna, right? Only a person who is enlightened, who is a bona fide spiritual master, who is a representative of the Supreme Lord, can actually remove the knots and can take us over the 3 modes of material nature, like that. All right. So let's see what Prabhupada is saying. The Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. In order to understand Krishna, you must be fortunate enough to associate with a person who is in pure Krishna consciousness. We cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita simply by acquiring an MA, PhD, or whatever. The Bhagavad Gita is a transcendental science, and it requires different senses in order to be understood. It requires different senses means what? We have to purify our senses. Now we have to transcend. Then only we'll be able to see the truth as it is. Our senses, how it is purified? By rendering of service, not by acquiring of academic degrees. There are many PhDs, many scholars who cannot understand Krishna. Therefore, Krishna appears in the material world. Although he is unborn, Ajopisan Avyayatma, he comes to reveal himself to us. Right? The Lord reveals himself to those who are sincerely engaged in devotional service. Thus, Krishna is realized by the grace of Krishna, or by the grace of a Krishna conscious person who has realized Krishna by the grace of Krishna. Very beautiful line, isn't it? Krishna is realized by the grace of Krishna, right? Krishna himself can reveal himself, right? We were saying yesterday, how Advaita Acharya called for Lord Krishna only. You only have to come directly to deliver the people of the age of Kali. And then Krishna, agreeing to the words and the prayers of a pure devotee, Advaita Acharya, came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna can be revealed by Krishna himself or by the grace of a Krishna conscious person. Who is that Krishna conscious person? Is a bona fide spiritual master. Right? Jnanina Tattva Darshinaha. They've already realized the truth, so they can pass on the truth through us. Like that. Okay, Karpagavali Mataji, you want to read? We cannot understand him through academic knowledge.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, go ahead.
From where we cannot understand him through academic knowledge, we can only understand Krishna by acquiring the grace of Krishna. Once we acquire his grace, we can see him, talk with him, and do whatever we desire. It is not that Krishna is a void. He is a person, that the supreme person, and we can have a relationship with him. That is the Vedic injunction. Nityo Nityanam Chetananam. We are all eternal persons and God is a supreme eternal person. We are all eternal and God is a supreme eternal. Presently, because we are engaged with these bodies, Mataji, scroll up, Mataji. Engaged with within these bodies, we are experiencing birth and death. But actually, we are beyond birth and death. We are eternal spirit souls. But according to our work and desires, we are transmigrating from one body to another. It is explained in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita 2.20. Naya Jayanti.
Najayate priyadeva kadachin. Nayam bhutva bhavita vanapuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Yes, ma'am. For
the soul, there is neither birth or death, and not death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and undying and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Just as God is eternal, we are also eternal. And when we establish our eternal relationship with the Supreme, complete eternal, we realize our eternity. Nityo Nityanandam Chetanas Chetanam. God is the supreme living entity among all living entities, the supreme eternal among all eternals. By grace, by Krishna consciousness, by purification of the senses, this knowledge will be realized and we will come to see God. Can you continue, Mataji?
So we'll end here. So just like the God is eternal, we are also eternal, right? Nityo Nityana, Chetanas Chetanana, Eko Bahonam Yo Vidadati Kaman, right? We are also eternal. Just like the Lord is eternal, we are also eternal. Nityo Nityana, Chetanas Chetanana, the Lord is also conscious, we are also conscious, right? So we are equal to the Lord in terms of the opulences the Lord possesses. But we are equal in quality because we are amshas of the Lord. We are equal to the Lord in quality, but we are not equal to the Lord in quantity. Why? Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. We are also Nitya, we are also Cheta, we also have the Chetana consciousness. But Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. That means what? Eko Bahunam. One person is maintaining all the other people. Right? All the other living entities are maintained by this one Supreme Lord. Who is that Lord? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Eko Bahonam. One is the maintainer. Yo Vidadati Kaman. He is maintaining all of the other living entities who are also eternal, who are also conscious. Right? But one is the maintainer, one is the creator, one exists infinitely, whereas the other one is limited. The other one is although the soul is not destructive, like Najayate Mreteva Kadachin. Nayam Bhutva Bhavitha Vanapuyah. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano. Right? We are spirit souls. We are also eternal. Ajo Nitya Shashvata. That means we are also eternal. And Purano. Right? We've been eternally existing. It is not that the Big Bang theory, right? There was a Big Bang, and then what happened? We were all created. No, that is not accepted as per the Vedic literature. Why? Because that is the mental speculation of one person called Darwin, right? Who proponed the theory of evolution, right? Eternally, what do we study in Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic scriptures? Jalaja Navalakshani Stavara Lakshvamshati. Right? All of these species are eternally existing. According to what we make of our consciousness, we will get a suitable body, isn't it? That is what is given in the Vedic scriptures. So we believe in the Vedic scriptures, right? Which tell us that we get our next body according to the desires that we have now, according to the actions that we are performing now. We are going to get our next body. Not that we became humans from being a monkey, right? No. Then actually Prabhupada and also Bhakti Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, when he was talking to one person, Prabhupada was telling this person that maybe you came out from a monkey, right? We are proper Bharadwaj Gotra, like that, right? So we are all eternal, right? That's why it said Shashvatoyam Purano, right? We are all continuously existing from time immemorial. We cannot say that this jiva has come into existence now only, right? The jiva is eternal, right? Na hanyate hanya mane sharire, right? When the body is destroyed, the soul is not destroyed. So the jiva is also eternal. The Lord is also eternal, right? We'll say jiva and Bhagavan, right? Jiva is also eternal. Lord is also eternal. Jiva is also conscious. Lord is also conscious. But the jiva is infinitesimal, very small amsha of the Lord, whereas the Lord is infinite. The jiva has all the qualities of the Lord, but in minute proportion, right? Some of us are famous. Some of us can speak very nicely. Some of us have a lot of wealth, right? For example, Amitabh Bachchan. If you think of Amitabh Bachchan, people go outside his bungalow just for him to wave his hand. To just see him, people go and stand. Why? Because Amitabh Bachchan is very famous. But is Amitabh Bachchan beautiful? No. Is Amitabh Bachchan very learned? No. Right? He is just simply famous. That is one attribute that he has got, right? So because of that, people adore him, right? When we are adoring those people who have some quality, right? Or only one quality. Like for example, this Amitabh Bachchan has got fame. He's got so many followers, right? But Amitabh Bachchan, right? As long as he lives as Amitabh Bachchan, he will enjoy that fame. Isn't it? But nobody can claim that I will possess that particular opulence forever, right? Because all of these opulences, whether it is what is that? Beauty, knowledge, fame, renunciation, strength, and wealth. All of this will die with my body. They are all part of this bodily conception. But what will stay eternally with me, life after life, is how much of Krishna consciousness have I practiced? How much of love for Krishna have I developed? Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Neha Vikramanashosti, Pratyavayona Vidyate, Swalpam api yasya dharmasya, Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Right? That means this Krishna consciousness, whatever we have developed, that only will remain with us life after life. Right? Nothing else will remain life after life with us. So that is the only thing that we will want to cultivate in our life. So that when that knowledge becomes realized, we will come to see that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in at a short notice. Tomorrow also we'll meet at 11 o'clock for the study of Srila Prabhupada's book, Path for Perfection. Of course, we'll meet in the morning, 5 o'clock for Brahma Muhurta chanting. Tomorrow is the last day of this calendar year, 2023, as per the English calendar. And tomorrow is also the most auspicious Tirobhav Tithi of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There's full fasting till noon tomorrow. So we'll meet at 11 to 11:45. Like today, we will study Path for Perfection. First and foremost, we'll meet at 5 o'clock for Brahma Muhurta chanting, Japa talk, chanting with Prabhupada, chanting with Guru Maharaj, chanting with the devotees. And then we'll meet at 11 o'clock for the study of Srila Prabhupada's book. And in that way, we will fast for Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Tirobhav Tithi. And then after our class, 11:45, we'll offer Pushpanjali to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then we will break our fast. All right. And then, tomorrow we'll meet. And then, next day is, of course, it is the new year as per the calendar year. That is 1st January 2024. All right. So we'll meet tomorrow for this. Yes, Sindhu Mataji, you have some question? Everyone can unmute themselves now. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, no, you are telling na Lord and we both are eternal and same. Only thing is qualitatively we are same, but quantitatively we are different. So I was just thinking, what example will be best for that?
Yeah, this ocean, right? Ocean water
Yeah.
and the drop, right? The drop of ocean
Yeah.
has the same properties of the ocean. You know, it has the same chemical composition as that of the ocean. Whereas a drop is infinite, I mean, is infinitesimal, whereas ocean is infinite. Prabhupada also gives example of fire and a spark of fire, right? The spark of fire, if it falls on my finger, it might just create a dot. But if the entire fire were to come upon my hand, it will burn my entire hand. So that is the potential of quality and quantity. The spark of fire and the fire itself. Okay, Mataji?
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.